As America embarks on its America First foreign policy, a lot of non-Americans are feeling, well, kind of unwelcome. In fact, dozens of countries have already issued travel advisories to their citizens.
Some Dutchmen say, why are you going? You're going to Trump?
We have tariffs, they've been set, and it's going to make our country very rich.
Canadians alone annually spend more than $400 million here in LA.
It wasn't a virus. It wasn't a hurricane. It wasn't even terrorism. And yet, something massive is crumbling inside the United States, and almost no one's talking about it. Right now, America's tourism industry, once a giant in global travel, is collapsing. Quietly, systematically, like a slow-motion implosion happening beneath our feet. Hotels are going empty. Airlines are cutting routes. And the country is on track to lose over $12 billion in international visitor spending this year alone. This isn't just a tourism slump. This is a warning flare, a red alert, because what's really driving this decline isn't just airfare or hotel prices. It's trade wars, tariffs, visa chaos, and a political climate that's making travelers feel unwelcome. And while the rest of the world bounces back from the pandemic, welcoming tourists with open arms, the U.S. is slipping further behind. Smash that like button to help us reach more people and expose what's really going on here. Let's rewind the clock. Back in 2019, international travelers poured $233 billion into the U.S. economy. Tourism was booming. From Times Square to the Grand Canyon, international dollars were fueling jobs, businesses, and entire cities. Then the pandemic hit. Borders closed. Planes were grounded. Fair enough. But now, in 2025, when the rest of the world is bouncing back, travel booming in Europe, Asia, and Latin America, the United States is going the other direction. This year, foreign travel spending in the U.S. is expected to plunge to $169 billion. That's down $12 billion from last year. Let that sink in. While travel demand is exploding globally, America is somehow losing. And it's not because people don't want to travel. Planes are full. Airports are packed. But they're heading to Paris, not New York. Tokyo, not San Francisco. Cancun, not Miami. So what's happening? The answer lies not just in tourism, but in politics. When the U.S. slapped heavy tariffs on allies like Canada, Europe, and China, the response wasn't just economic. It was emotional. Leaders urged their citizens to take vacations somewhere else. And they listened. Take Canada, for example. After the U.S. hit them with a 25% tariff, Canadian officials publicly urged people to stop visiting America. The result? A nearly 20% drop in Canadian tourism to the U.S., the sharpest of any country. That's a body blow, because Canadians have long been the biggest group of foreign tourists visiting the U.S. And now, millions of trips are just not happening. And it's not just Canada. Tourists from Mexico, the U.K., France, Japan, Germany, they're all pulling back. In total, international arrivals to the U.S. are projected to fall nearly 9% this year. That's over $12.5 billion in lost spending. Money that would have gone to American hotels, restaurants, theme parks, museums, and retail shops vanished. Gone abroad. It's a quiet disaster, one that hits small towns just as hard as big cities. And it's about more than money. It's about perception. China, once one of the fastest growing sources of international tourists, has nearly shut the tap off. The government in Beijing issued a formal warning to its citizens, urging them to rethink travel to the U.S. The reasons? Economic tension, national security, and, frankly, a rising sense of hostility. Just a few years ago, millions of Chinese tourists were injecting billions into the U.S. economy. Now, that flow has slowed to a trickle. Chinese tour groups are choosing Thailand, Australia, and Europe over America. And guess what? Europe's not exactly happy either. After the U.S. doubled tariffs on European steel and aluminum, the EU hit back hard. Behind closed doors, officials are pulling promotional funding for U.S. destinations, tightening visa processes, and even discouraging transatlantic travel altogether. And the numbers prove it. European bookings to the U.S. down. American bookings to Europe way up. This isn't just a trend, it's a shift. A shift in how the world sees America. And here's the thing. It's not only about tariffs. It's about the experience of visiting the U.S. Getting a U.S. visa today? Prepare to wait months, maybe a year. Entry screenings have become stricter, less predictable. Even with a valid visa, visitors can be detained, interrogated, or sent home. Germany and Spain now officially warn travelers that their documents might not be enough. Canada has updated its advisories too, pointing out increased scrutiny, delays, and new exit procedures. So if you're a tourist choosing between a 2-week trip to the US or a hassle-free vacation in Barcelona or Tokyo, the decision's getting easier. And it's costing America big time. Even birth tourism, once a niche industry, has become a diplomatic flashpoint. Under the Trump administration, visas were denied to pregnant women suspected of coming just to give birth. That story made waves across Asia, Latin America, and Middle East. The message? You're not welcome. And the result? Canceled trips, empty hotels, rerouted flights. For the first time in modern history, America's global tourism share is actually shrinking. Not temporarily, structurally. And here's where things get really painful. Major international airlines, Lufthansa, British Airways, Air France, Iberia, they're all cutting flights to the US. Why? Because demand is falling. It's no longer worth it. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Miami are all seeing reduced international traffic. And American carriers are bracing for a slow summer. The deeper reason? Trade policy. Tariffs on aircraft parts, logistics complications, rising maintenance costs. It all adds up. Flying to the US is now more expensive while attracting fewer passengers. That's the worst of both worlds for airlines. And it's only the beginning. And it's not just flights and policies. It's people. When international tourists stop coming, the fallout is real. It hits towns, jobs, families. Take Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, a border town where hotel bookings have dropped over 70% this year. That's not a slowdown. That's collapse. Local businesses, motels, cafes, souvenir shops are on life support. In Flagstaff, Arizona, a 15% drop in international tourists has left the local tourism board scrambling to fill the void. And Las Vegas? Entire tour groups from Europe and Asia have disappeared. Bus routes canceled. Tour guides laid off. Even high-end casinos are seeing fewer international high rollers. This isn't just lost revenue. It's lost identity. America was once the dream destination. Now it's being skipped. And while the US stumbles, others are stepping up. France, Spain, Japan, Mexico, Australia. They're launching slick campaigns to grab the tourists America is losing. Fast-track visas, friendly policies, a single, powerful message. You're welcome here. And that's exactly the message America has stopped sending. Instead, the US has made travel a bureaucratic maze. Visa wait times have ballooned. Security screenings are unpredictable. Even with the right paperwork, travelers fear being detained or sent home. Countries like Germany, Spain, and Canada have updated their official advisories, warning citizens that visiting the US might not be worth the hassle. And travelers are listening. Meanwhile, birth tourism, once a small, niche phenomenon, has become another flashpoint. The crackdown on pregnant visitors seeking to give birth in the US has made global headlines. And that adds yet another layer of hesitation. The result? Canceled trips, empty hotel rooms, missed connections. America's share of the global tourism market is shrinking, structurally, not temporarily. And the impact goes deeper. The costs of flying into the US have gone up, thanks to tariffs on aircraft parts, maintenance delays, and disrupted supply chains. And with fewer travelers booking, it's simply not worth it. This is the worst of both worlds. More expensive to operate, but less demand to justify it. And zooming out, the broader economic picture isn't any better. Thanks to rising tariffs and growing economic friction, Oxford Economics estimates that U.S. GDP growth could slow to 1.4%, while core inflation may climb to 4%. That means even Americans will have less to spend on travel, dining, and leisure. In short, tariffs are becoming a tourism tax, paid not by diplomats, but by everyday people, by hotel clerks, restaurant servers, cab drivers. And it's a tax America can't afford. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, the U.S. is on track to lose up to $12 billion in international visitor spending this year alone. That's money that will never be spent in Times Square, at the Grand Canyon, or in Disney World. Instead, it's already flowing to other countries. And analysts warn, the U.S. tourism sector may not fully recover until 2029. But it doesn't have to be this way. There are real, actionable solutions. Visa systems can be modernized, entry processes streamlined, trade diplomacy repaired, and above all, America can remember what once made it irresistible: freedom, openness, and hospitality. Because tourism isn't just about sightseeing. It's about reputation. It's about influence. It's about people choosing to spend time and money in your country because they feel welcomed. And right now, that feeling is fading fast. If you found this video valuable, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Global Pulse for more honest takes on the world's biggest shifts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.